What's up, everybody? Trix Ridiculous back with another video, and you've probably seen by now that they have announced that the next character coming to Marvel's Avengers is Jane Foster. Okay, so I wanted to put out this video giving my thoughts on it, and I really don't have too much to say. But before we do, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new for more Avengers content. But let's get right into it now. The very first thing that's coming on the horizon on a May release is update 2.4. Now, this one, I don't really have much to say. The only thing you need to know about it is that they're reworking the hero events and that there will be ways to get to power level 175 that do not include the raid or the Omega level threat. Honestly, that's all you need to know. We really don't have to spend much time on this one. I'm not overly excited about this one. I think it's whatever. Obviously, there are people who will be happy with this, which is fine. I'm happy for those people. But for me and, more end game players, this is pretty irrelevant, and the recycling of events, not super interested. But what is the big news is that in update 2.5, we will be getting Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor. Now, this, of course, being revealed in conjunction with her appearance in the Thor Love and Thunder trailer. But basically, we still don't know the exact timing, right? 2.4 is scheduled for May, or targeted for May, I should say. So at the very least, we're looking at June or possibly even July for Jane. In my opinion, that's a little slow for content, but we'll get into that in just a second. But basically, that's the big reveal, right? So I have obviously pretty mixed opinions about this. Jane Foster is a cool character. I'm excited to play as her. I main Thor. So to have another character like Thor, I'm pretty excited about. And it just goes to show that you definitely cannot doubt Miller, because he had this one right on the money. He had this one pegged from the start. But regardless, obviously a lot of people were, have some mixed feelings about Jane, calling her an Echo character. I give Avengers a lot of credit for the combat. Kate and Hawkeye play totally differently. I'm sure that Jane will play differently from Thor. She might have a few things in the sense that, like, Kate and Hawkeye both have razor arrows, right? So they might have taken a few little ticky-tacky things, like they both might be able to call down lightning, right? I'm just picking that out of my ass, right? But like, Jane is still going to be a pretty cool addition, but that kind of brings me to the overall point. I don't really have a major opinion on this. It's kind of whatever, right? We don't know if she's going to have a story. We don't know if she's just going to be a hero event. I'm leaning towards that she'll just be a hero event, and honestly, that's what I'm more wanting, because I do not want them to spend time and resources. Like, if it's taking them any amount of time to put in a couple of stupid missions for her that no one's going to be able to even play after you play them one time, those are development hours that could be spent on anything else. That could be spent on horde mode. That could be spent trying to do join in progress, like anything, fixing bugs, for God's sake. That's really it. So, Jane coming, that's kind of just whatever. Happy to see a new hero in some form, but honestly, it's a pretty lukewarm reveal. But the big thing about this is that there is no roadmap. And I know that's like kind of a shock to hear, considering how much a roadmap has been a meme. But it's a little frustrating that we've been kind of teased about a roadmap. And I think the community has been a little overly going a little crazy for a roadmap. If you follow Avengers on Twitter, you could see people go Google for a roadmap. It's just become a meme within the community that we're waiting on a roadmap. And it turns out it's actually not coming. So if I go to just a few quotes here, so this, now I'm not normally the kind of person who will like try to bring up a quote that someone says on Reddit or something and try to make a big thing out of it. But these are, pretty clear answers. So this is from a Crystal Dynamics developer, basically asking, someone saying, kind of confirms there's actually no roadmap, right? All of these were roadmap comments, but it really never existed. And then this Crystal Dynamics developer responds, I think that assumes that a roadmap's existence is a more binary thing than it is. If your definition of a roadmap is a solid 6+ month plan where ready to share with players, then no, that does not exist, because we would have released it if it did. If your definition is the current plan of what devs will work on for the next X months, then yes, that's definitely existed, but that's not really baked, especially for distant dates at the level we're comfortable sharing. That's sort of what's behind the updates we've done recently. If we limit ourselves to a shorter time horizon and more stuff on the internal plan reaches a level of certainty we can talk about in the public, blah, blah, blah. So really, I mean, this is kind of a silly statement. And so I got a couple of comments on this. First of all, like, this is a weird twist to even try to put on it, that like if your roadmap is if you consider a roadmap like the next 6 months of content, then no, we don't have that. But if you consider a roadmap our internal planning, then yes, we do. That's kind of BS, because we all know what a roadmap is. They've done roadmaps in the past for this game. They've done 2 roadmaps in the past specifically. We know what a roadmap is in the context of this game. So this is an ignorant comment to say like, well, what's your definition of a roadmap? And anyone who's even remotely related to, you know, Marvel's Avengers, the game, whether it be the developers, the community team, anybody who's following on social media, anything in any sort of touch with the player base, knows that everyone's waiting on a roadmap. To act like a roadmap is some foreign concept right now is actually really stupid. And I'm not trying to pick on this one developer. Like I said, I don't actually know who this even is. So not trying to pick on anyone specifically, but that's an ignorant comment. And I feel like we did get a little bit baited, right? Like, there have been specific, and I'll actually come to the next quote kind of in the same vein here. There have been, and now this is not me commenting, but this person here basically says there have been specific callouts. They told Paul Tassi they would have a roadmap. They told us they would have a roadmap, you know, outlining the whole year. And I understand plans change, but they're very specifically saying, we know, like on the February reveal, they said, we know many of you have been eagerly awaiting our next roadmap. We aren't ready to reveal the next roadmap. Okay, you've got developers like Brian Wagner saying that they're not, like, he's saying that I think he said specifically, and I'm paraphrasing, but a pretty close quote is that like he could easily put up a bunch of cool visuals on a timeline, but if the team can't do it, then what's the point, right? So like he very much knew that there was a roadmap of some form coming, or that like the community was expecting a roadmap, but as we've kind of been, you know, hinted at along the way, is that they don't want to reveal a roadmap until they're confident they could be that they could meet the expectations of everything on the roadmap. And I think we've just reached a point where they just can't. There's literally not a single amount of content that they could commit to in the next 6 months, which is honestly sad. It's honestly sad, and that is just really, really strikes me deeply. And you know, just to get to the developer's comment here, if you haven't already read it yourself, he basically acknowledges, yes, they did say that they set some expectations that they're now having to reset, and they have to take some lumps for it. So at least he's acknowledging it, but it's just wild to me. And you know, I don't mean to turn this into a big rant, but it's just wild to me how, like, you knew everyone wanted a roadmap. You've teased along. People have been talking about this roadmap for so long. They've been saying that they have a roadmap. They're going to be revealing a roadmap. They just want to make sure everything on the roadmap's doable. They want to make sure they can commit to it. And now all of a sudden, it's like it never existed. It's like, no, that doesn't exist, right? Like, that's not a thing. And it's just wild to me. And honestly, like, Jane Foster, great. You know, it's just such a lukewarm reveal, right? It's just, there's no hype behind it, because it's like, okay, cool. No one's going to turn down a new character, right? But it's like I've said in previous videos, they're just on a trajectory where I think, you know, and I'll be perfectly blunt, they definitely had larger expectations for this game from the start. And I think that they do still want to execute on their vision for the game, but they're taking what they probably expected to be done and completed and launched, by 2022, and stretching that out. And like, they might have initially thought before the game launched that it was going to be a massive success, get massive live service game, and that they'd be coming out with characters every couple of months. Instead, the game immediately tanked and now just has a small diehard audience, and they have, all of those plans that they had, they still want to accomplish them, but they're realizing that with the less resources, they just have to stretch it out who knows how long. So, I mean, we could be getting content for this game until late 2023, 2024 even, but it's probably the same content that they originally had planned for 2022. They just slashed the development budget into an eighth, and so it's going to take 8 times as long, right? So that's kind of where I'm getting at with this. But either way, I mean, overall, this reveal has been a good thing and a bad thing. I don't really have much more to say on it, and I feel like, I'll end the video now because I feel like I'm ranting a little bit. But overall, Jane Foster, good, fine. Don't doubt Miller. No roadmap, bad. I feel very like we were strung along, and just really not cool of Crystal Dynamics to do that. I feel like we should get some sort of high-level glimpse into at least what they're working on or what their priorities are. I think the community has stuck with them long enough to deserve that, but that's not going to happen. But either way, we'll see what happens with the latest patches and timelines and all that good stuff. Until then, guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.